Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this important hearing and your interest in manufacturing. It certainly is critical to where our country is going in the future. And Secretary Locke, I appreciate your testimony, which I've had a chance to review about some of the President's priorities. And you obviously know that big news back in the other Washington on a very big defense contract that was about U.S. manufacturing. And in aerospace, we still have a competitive edge in a variety of markets. But it seems in this particular case that one of the deciding factors was the implementation of lean manufacturing to drive down the cost to compete even against foreign subsidies, or at least in my view, the consideration of subsidies weren't taken off the table, so they were basically competing against foreign subsidy, but yet U.S. lean manufacturing drove down the efficiency to a point where the United States was still competitive. So my question, and I see from your testimony that the Manufacturing Extension Program is one of the plus-ups in the budget. That's good news. What can we do in this area to continue that lean manufacturing effort in a more expansive way? And to what degree can that be used for to retooling and reskilling the workforce in America, or are there other things that we should be looking at?
Well, clearly there are a whole host of programs, some that the President has called for expanding, whether it's the investments in advanced manufacturing, a public-private partnership called AMTEC that is proposed to be led by our National Institute of Standards and Technology, our NIST laboratories. That would be a public-private partnership to look at some of the commercialization lean manufacturing programs that could really hasten development of new products and ensure that that manufacturing occurs in the United States, all the way to our MEP program, the Hollings Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which just last year served some 34,000 manufacturers in the United States. And those clients reported that more than 17,000 jobs were actually created, as well as retaining some 54,000 jobs. And part of that was also to identify markets and additional customers abroad for these manufacturers in the United States. So increasing their efficiency, their productivity, as well as finding additional customers, buyers for those made in USA products and services. Clearly, I think we need to look at R&D. Because that's a lot of the things coming out of our federal laboratories are creating those strategies on how to be lean manufacturers, reduce their costs. And again, if we're able to reduce their costs, they're competitive around the world, and then we then turn around and help them sell those products around the world, whether it's Boeing airplanes to tugboats and barges and dredging equipment to even thin film solar. There's a great demand, a high value for those made in USA products and services.
Well, I definitely agree on the, it seems that we are leading the way on the innovation side. And in fact, a lot of our R&D ends up getting used in other places. But the advantage that we still have in manufacturing is where innovation continues to increase the opportunity. I mean, if you're just making the same thing over and over again, no, we don't have that advantage. But if we're going to continue to innovate in manufacturing or a particular area, then that gives us the advantage over some other country who can't innovate as fast as we do. But that innovation takes a skilling of the workforce as well. And I just think with this great level of unemployment, you know, figuring out how to get those the biggest thing that will next happen out in the Northwest is all those new jobs that are created. People will go from the supply chain to the manufacturer, and then the supply chain will be looking for people, and we'll be looking to skill them so that they can keep that innovation pace going. So our advantage is innovation. That's our advantage. We know how to innovate, and the question is, what can we do to help get that implementation of those wins into that manufacturing base quicker? And I'm sure there's some, as my colleague from Maine suggested, there's probably some in paper, there's probably some in other areas, but it's implementing those that it seems like some of the other countries are having a little bit of an advantage of. They take our technology and get it implemented faster than we do. And so I think we need to look at how we take our innovative edge and actually get it implemented.
I think there are a whole host of strategies that we need to focus on, and one includes just hastening the commercialization of the R&D and getting those ideas into the marketplace. Whether it's speeding up the patent process, whether it's addressing those issues of the valley of death that entrepreneurs face when they come up with a great product, a great idea, and how to get the capital that they need. And that's why, for instance, the President has called for expansion of programs in the Small Business Administration that would really provide some of the initial capital that companies need to commercialize their great products and their ideas, all the way to providing tax incentives, whether it's the President's call for no capital gains taxes on investments in small businesses that are able to then to succeed. So it's trying to provide that capital, and then of course making sure that manufacturing occurs here. And as you indicated, we have to have a highly trained workforce. We're finding that the cost advantages of labor in other countries like in Asia are disappearing, and that there's more incentive for companies to move manufacturing facilities here. But if you're going to do that, you got to have a highly trained workforce, and that includes programs at the Department of Labor to the Department of Education, working with community colleges and so forth. So there's a whole, there's a whole range of actions that are necessary in order to create those incentives for more manufacturing to occur here and to stay here and to bring manufacturing back to the United States.